It is a massacre rarely talked about in American history. Hundreds were murdered, thousands left homeless after a mob destroyed a prominent black neighborhood in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Now, 100 years later, the violent act is being recognized by the world. NewsNation's Felicia Bolton is live in the newsroom with the weekend's remembrances and the growing movement to increase awareness. Felicia.
In the early morning hours of June 1st, 1921, the Greenwood district was looted and burned by white rioters. The area was known as Black Wall Street, but despite the tragedy, very little was spoken about it until recently. Down the main road of the Greenwood district, hundreds gathered in Tulsa, Oklahoma, to honor the 3 living survivors of the 1921 Tulsa Race Massacre. 106-year-old Leslie Randall, 100-year-old Hugh Van Ellis, and 107-year-old Viola Fletcher witnessed a white mob burning homes and businesses to the ground in 1921. Historians say 35 city blocks were charred. At least 800 people were treated for injuries. About 300 people died and thousands were left homeless. But the violent act was not a part of American history until now.
I have a dream.
Partially because of the recent racial movement spawned by the deaths of unarmed black people by police.
For me, this is another step towards quest towards justice. This is not an event for me. This is a freedom march.
Greenwood is rising. Black people in Tulsa have been oppressed ever since the massacre.
Therapist for more than 30 years and New York Times best-selling author Resmaa Menakem says Americans not recognizing the full scope of racial conflicts has lasting traumatic impacts on society today, and this can lead to trauma.
When we talk about trauma, we want to talk about it in terms of an intellectual piece without really realizing that trauma takes place on the vibrational level. It takes place on the image level. It takes place on the meaning-making level. It takes place on the behavior and urge level. It also takes place in terms of historical. It takes place intergenerationally, persistent institutionally, and then our own personal traumas all get bound up together. It is why I talk about racialization and white body supremacy as a trauma, because that trauma has not been taken care of. That trauma is compounded by our experience.
Some people think it doesn't exist at all.
And those people that think it doesn't exist, I would say that it's because, number one, they're not paying attention. Number two, in order to pay attention would mean that they would have to come face to face with the horror, the brutality, and the terror, and they don't want to do that.
Menakem says healing starts with listening, exploring the past events, investigating what happened, and not being afraid to ask tough questions.
I begin to have people slow things down and orient to what is showing up.
On Tuesday, which is 100 years to the day of the massacre, the city of Tulsa will start excavating what may be a mass grave of mostly black victims of that horrific day.